To Dr. Leta Hong, author of several books on gender inequality in China, including Betraying Big Brother, The Feminist Awakening in China, and Leftover Women. Thanks very much for joining us today. What did you make of this song when you first heard it?
Well, I mean, it really blew me away. First of all, I think it's a very powerful song. It's, I mean, really beautiful, haunting music. But I mean, the lyrics are just, they're so startlingly just vivid about violence against women. And it's just really striking, not only for China, but I mean, for any famous singer worldwide to produce a song like this. It's really, really remarkable.
And in terms of, kind of bravery, what do you mean by that? Why is it so difficult for young women like her in the limelight to talk openly, even in 2020?
Right. Well, I mean, the thing about China is that it's the world's most powerful authoritarian regime. There are gross human rights abuses. There's a lot of there's a huge crackdown happening on feminist activism and on civil society in general. And there's no internet freedom, so there's widespread censorship. There's also no press freedom. So state media do not mention domestic violence very often. So it is incredibly courageous for a singer like Han Weiwei to come out with such a very bold, really startling song about domestic violence.
And, I mentioned some of the numbers in terms of how widespread domestic violence is in China. Do you think those numbers are accurate? Is it possible to know really the extent of it? And has it got worse or has it improved at all?
Right. Well, I think, as you see worldwide, there's no way to really gauge the true extent of intimate partner violence or violence against women. I mean, anybody observing China will say that the official statistics really understate the severity of violence against women. But the thing is that we don't know if I don't think that the problem per se is getting worse. I mean, China did pass this anti-domestic violence law. But what is really striking is that there's much more awareness about misogyny and sexism and violence against women in general. And there's this feminist movement that has really been growing in momentum, particularly when you think about the hostile political environment in China and how incredibly difficult it is to kind of propel any social movement forward.
And just finally, is this something that happens more in the rural areas, perhaps with less educated populations, or is it widespread throughout all sectors of society?
I mean, it's definitely widespread. It's not just a rural phenomenon. There have been some high-profile cases happening in China in cities. What is really different is that you see some women, and the majority of the victims are women, who are brave enough to go public about their own experiences with violence. But you also have some high-profile, really tragic cases of women being killed by their violent partners. And so, I mean, it's a worldwide epidemic. It's also an epidemic of violence against women in China. And so the fact that this song has become so famous and celebrated and talked about online is, it just indicates that there's millions of people are talking about this issue, and so they're pushing it into the public sphere, in spite of the government's effort to kind of wipe out any kind of feminist movement or discussion of these kinds of topics about women's rights in general.
Okay, Dr. Leta Hong, thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you.